I'm Dr Ian Strawford, and I'm the Medical Director of Skin Excellence Clinics. Would you like to find out why a treatment called Tixel is one of the most popular treatments in skin rejuvenation treatments in our clinics? You may have heard of Tixel or may not have heard of Tixel, but it's been around quite a few years and it's proven itself to be one of the most effective skin rejuvenation treatments in the UK today. So listen in and I'll tell you more about this amazing treatment we have.
How does Tixel work?
So Tixel is a very simple treatment, very effective, but very simple. So we know it's basically utilizing heat. So a lot of energy-based treatments, as we call them, whether that's light therapies like laser, CO2 laser, or radio frequency, all of these treatments, they're all producing energy in a different form to create heat. Now, heat has an effect on the skin. If we heat the skin to a certain temperature, then we will get a rejuvenative or regenerative, and it's the power of our body. It's a complex mechanism. But the result that you want to know is that you're going to reverse cellular damage, you're going to reverse skin aging, you're going to reverse damage that's been undertaken from the sun. And what you'll see is a better skin with less lines of wrinkles, maybe a skin that has a better tone, maybe it's treating pigmentation, maybe it's treating even scarring, but we're reversing those damages to the skin just by simply applying heat to the skin. And that's the beauty of Tixel.
What areas of the face or body does Tixel treat? So
Tixel can be used for any skin rejuvenation. The whole face and the body will respond to this heat treatment, this Tixel treatment. We're particularly using it, the popular areas in our clinic are clearly the face and the neck, which have been exposed to UV and maybe showing more signs of sun damage and aging. It may be that somebody's suffering with, and these can be younger patients with acne, or even acne scarring. And Tixel is a very effective resurfacing treatment of the skin to reverse scarring and to even treat and control the acne itself. A lot of our patients, we find it's one of the most effective treatments to safely and very simply tighten the skin of the eyelids. So this is very delicate skin, which can often show the aging changes very early in our lives, with lines, with wrinkles, with bagginess or hooded eyelids. And Tixel can start to have an effect on that skin. Perhaps not to the degree that surgery would, but certainly those patients who are not looking for a more invasive surgical procedure or are getting to the point where they want to slow the aging process down and prevent having the need for a surgical procedure, either on the face, the neck, or the eyelids, or the body, then Tixel can be a very effective treatment both to reverse skin aging, but also to slow down skin aging.
Can Tixel treat rosacea?
So Tixel, there are some novel ways of treating rosacea with Tixel. Tixel itself can help improve the skin and reverse some of the damage that's done by rosacea. But the redness of the skin that is associated with rosacea has always been the hardest to treat. And whether that's with a laser, whether it's with topical skin serums or etc., the redness of rosacea can be very stubborn. Botulinum toxin, or Botox as we call it, can be applied to the skin immediately after a Tixel treatment. And the skin after a Tixel treatment becomes porous, so to speak. So things like Botox will pass directly into the skin without the use of any needle. And it will affect a very complex mechanism, but it affects the blood vessels and shuts them down in the skin, which then makes the redness go away. So it's actually a novel use of Tixel using topical botulinum, and this has been reported in the literature to be very effective, and we've had some very good success cases in our clinic as well using topical Botox and Tixel.
Is Tixel a painful treatment?
Tixel can be an uncomfortable treatment, not particularly painful, but we are applying a significant amount of heat to the skin, and patients will often feel that heat build up during the procedure. We make it a comfortable procedure by applying a topical anesthetic prior to the Tixel treatment. And so most patients just report a minor discomfort, which can last for a few hours after the procedure, but quite quickly passes away as the heat dissipates through the skin after the treatment.
Is Tixel a safe treatment?
Tixel is an incredibly safe treatment. We're applying heat, but we're applying it in a very prescribed manner so that we are applying enough heat to the skin to affect those regenerative biological changes within the skin. But we're not heating the skin to completely burn the skin and therefore create a prolonged healing response. Other treatments such as CO2 laser unfortunately do burn the skin, and they do then suffer more complications secondary to that burning of the skin. But we have shown, and they've shown with Tixel, that you can heat the skin up to a specific temperature without burning it and still get the same effects that you can get from other treatments like a CO2 laser, which used to be the gold standard for skin resurfacing.
What do I look like after a Tixel?
So after a Tixel treatment, there is a lot of heat within the skin, and you can see and you can feel that heat. So what we're usually dealing with is redness, quite significant redness and flushing of the skin, which can take a number of hours, or in extreme cases, a day or two to settle. Most patients will experience a sort of dryness of the skin for a week or two afterwards, which can be easily ameliorated with simple moisturizing serums and lotions applied to the skin after treatment. And we have some very effective ones that patients can use at Skin Excellence clinics. So most patients find that it's a very quick recovery, and it doesn't usually put them out of action, particularly after a treatment. The only thing we would say is that you do need to be using a very effective sun protection after a Tixel treatment, and it's best to avoid, prolonged sun exposure if possible for at least a week or so after a Tixel treatment.
How many Tixel treatments will I need?
Most patients will need at least 3 Tixel treatments, and we're applying that heat energy. It's a fractional resurfacing procedure, and by that we mean that only small areas of the skin are being treated at one time, and that allows a very quick, safe treatment that is very effective, but with a very quick recovery rate. But we do need to repeat that treatment to cover the whole of the skin. So most people, 3 treatments would be effective, usually about a month or so apart. With more advanced skin aging and problems, then we may do more treatments than 3, but for most people, we'll be seeing some nice changes after 3 treatments.
How long do the results of Tixel last?
The results of Tixel on average last maybe around about a year. Any treatment that is stimulating a new collagen within the skin is going to give us about a year or so of results, because that collagen isn't there permanently. It's being slowly degraded and replaced by collagen. So any skin rejuvenative treatment is roughly speaking about a year for most people. But that's a good length of time for the patient to see those benefits from this very simple, safe, and quite cost-effective treatment.
How can I maintain the results of my Tixel treatments?
So the results can last a year or so for most patients, and they may be noticing a deterioration towards the end of that period. So it's a lot of my patients, because the aging process is progressive, especially in the later years of our life, that we're going to be gradually losing more of our background collagen as well, and seeing they've changed in the skin. So it's very effective to have like a maintenance program with Tixel and maybe doing a single treatment every 6 months or 9 months just to keep those the amount of collagen boosted within the skin. And a lot of our patients find that because it's a very cost-effective and simple, safe and quick recovery procedure, that they're very happy to have that treatment on a more regular basis if they need to.
Can I combine Tixel with other treatments?
Definitely you can combine Tixel with other treatments. So as I said, Tixel is really addressing the skin and reversing skin aging and maybe treating scarring or other skin conditions. And that goes hand in hand with other age-related problems such as volume loss or laxity. So we're often combining Tixel, if we need to, with collagen-stimulating fillers like Alanze. We're often now treating the skin or pre-treating the skin with things like polynucleotides to further increase the cellular activity of the skin, make the skin more responsive to individual Tixel treatments. Or we may be applying growth factor serums or exosomes topically on the skin after a Tixel treatment, because for a short period of time, for a day or so after Tixel, the skin is very porous. So any topical products that would normally not pass through the skin can pass very easily into the skin. Often that's called Mezotix, or it's like a Tixel mesotherapy. So instead of having to inject these things into the skin, they can pass through the skin. So we're often combining Tixel with a lot of these other modalities to get a combination and a much more effective, longer lasting results.